right, guys, so welcome back to the Spotless Mind podcast, episode 2. It's your host, Olivia Jonelle, and you realize I'm celebrating my birthday all month. So the decorations are going to be there, okay? It's the birthday month, not the birthday day. So, yes, for today, I'm drinking kombucha. Shout out to all my kombucha fans. If you don't like kombucha, you can't sit with us. No, I'm playing, but I love kombucha. Let's try this one. The one I usually go for was $4.99 today, $3.99. Inflation. I was like, no, give me that can. Give me that can I don't know nothing about. Ooh. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Do I love it? I don't love it. Shout out to the hoodie. Y'all see the 27? 27 years of life. Wow. It's been quite the journey. And I've moved around a lot. I've been to 3 different high schools. I've lived in 3 different cities. I've lived in 4 places, 3 different cities. I've traveled a lot. Been out the country about 3 times now. So when I say I'm a wanderer, like, why do you think the podcast was named Spotless Mind? I'm a go. When God tells me to go, I'm a go. I'm a head out. I don't care who I leave behind. Love you, but I gotta go see. Why my brain is telling me to go there. And so that just takes me back to what I wanted to talk about on this episode. I wanted to talk about when do you know when it's time to leave versus when you're giving up on something? I think growing up, we were always taught to never give up, no matter what. Like, giving up is a bad thing. You're quitting. You're not sticking through with something. But is everything meant to be held on to? I don't think so. Especially when you're on a level up journey, especially when you are healing, evolving, growing, understanding life, especially when your mind just fully developed a couple years ago and you finally am starting to realize what is going on. What world am I in? Like, as a kid, they taught us one way, and when you grow up, you realize it's such a personal experience that there's not one way to go about it. There's not one way to look at it, and you have to learn when it's time to let go of people, let go of situations, let go of anything. And I feel like such an expert in this. I feel like this is something that not every single time I think I was supposed to walk away from something, but as I've gotten older, I started really being in tune and intuitive with who I am as a woman, as a person, and I'm starting to make those decisions a lot faster, a lot quicker, and more accurately. So now at first I feel like it was me running. I feel like it was always me running from a situation, a relationship, and now I move with intention. I know for sure. Shout out to the Know For Sure podcast. I know for sure God was like, leave Dallas, come to Atlanta. Like, you need to be with your entrepreneurship tribe. It's time. It's time, baby. It's time. So I just wanted to give some helpful tips to anybody feeling like they aren't sure if they're giving up on something, or if it's really just that time to say bye, I'm moving on. So one of my biggest things, or yeah, I guess one of my biggest things that I had to realize that it was kind of, I'm not going to say 100% time for me to move on, but I knew it was time for me to leave acting and get more into entrepreneurship. During COVID, everyone around me was like, no, like, you're giving up, it's too early, you might be a superstar, you might da 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 da. And I couldn't quite hear God's voice at the time, where he was like, yeah, go. But logically, I knew that I was seeing people who were a lot older than me, who were talented as well, who didn't quite make it to that A-list, B-list celebrity status. And that's not what it's all about, okay? When you're an artist, it's not always about making it to be a superstar. But my heart, what I want, I want the best of the best. I want the cream of the crop. I want to make the most money. I want to live a life of abundance. And in acting, it wasn't a sure thing for me. It comes down to so many different variables in Hollywood: what you look like, who you know, you know, who you, who you're associated with. And it got to the point where I was just like, I'm not willing to be mediocre for this career. I'm not willing to say that if I make it to 45 and I'm just, I've done a few commercials, I've done a few shows, like, I'm happy. I know I wouldn't be happy. And so logically, I knew I had to move on. But as I started moving on, it started feeling so divine. It started feeling so, this was what you were always meant to do. Even down to this podcast, like the makeup, the hair, the understanding the lighting of filming, understanding microphones, understanding set design, understanding everything was so divine, because now I can enter this space and not feel limited. It all makes sense. It all came together. And so here's a few things that I can say helped with learning how to be more intuitive about making those decisions. So, number one, everyone says this, but I mean, I've been doing this since I was little. And I mean, my Insecure show, one of my favorite acting gigs, was booked off of this one principle. And that's a vision board. That's mine over there. I'm not going to show y'all what's on my vision board because it's personal, okay? But yes, seeing something every day, even down to just making the decision that that's what I want, that's what I'm going towards. Like, I'm going towards that thing, that person, that space. Putting it on a board, decorating that board, making it personal for you, enjoying that craft time, it brings me back to this just childhood and just fun and just playfulness and being this being in your imagination. Shout out to SpongeBob. Anyways, being in that imagination, vision boards will bring you back to that space. So, yeah, with mine, I named mine Chapter 27 because um, this year I just feel like I want to make it a book. I want to make it a moment in time where I wrote it. I wrote this one. This isn't me getting a role. This isn't me auditioning for my dream role. This is me writing my role. This is me writing my impact. This is me like taking full ownership, full control over my life, my happiness, the things that I want is mine. Damn it, it's mine. So yeah, that's tip number one. The next tip is spending time alone. This can be probably one of the most isolating, I'm not gonna lie. It can be such a sad time, but it's so necessary because you don't have anyone to run to, anyone to ask their opinions, anyone to, what's the word? Anyone to like bounce something off of. Like, it's you. Is you. This is those moments where you're sitting in your house and you're talking to yourself and you're like, I have absolutely lost it. Yes, ma'am, you have. Yeah, you've lost it. Yeah, so I spent about a year alone in Dallas, Texas. I moved there by myself. I didn't know I knew some coworkers because I moved there for a job, but I didn't know anyone. During that year, I spent it really pretty much alone, and I had a lot of down moments, but in those down moments, I didn't spend it well, some moments were spent depressed, okay? Some moments I was balled up on my couch, but most of those moments was spending listening to podcast on leveling up, manifestation, getting what you want out of life, pushing yourself to be self-disciplined, happiness, marriage, family, success, all those things with a little bit of reality TV too, okay? So, yeah, that journey, if I would have only known, I guess the next time I experience it, I would know that when you are faced to be alone, do not try not to say you won't, but try not to wallow in it. Try to find a way to make it the most exciting experience. Like, go to a go to an expensive restaurant for no reason, or treat yourself to the ideal date you'll like, or go on a date just because and have them take you to your favorite restaurant, or like, you spend that time fueling you, filling up your cup, okay? Like, no need to be sad. Your man's coming. Your man's coming. At least I hope so, because this was in my head. It's on my board. Okay, so tip number 3. Let's see. Spirituality slash religion slash believing in you, believing in something, believing in a higher power, knowing what you believe in is so key because it will help guide you along the way. So I'm more spiritual, not too much religious. I grew up in a Christian household. I've been to Catholic school, so I know a little bit about the Catholic religion. I know about the Hebrew Israelites. Like, I know about the Orishas. So I've studied a few religions, and what stands out to me the most is astrology, is spirituality, manifestation, like all those little like cosmic dreamer type deals. I'm a Pisces. I love Janae. Obsessed with Janae, if you couldn't tell. So things like that is what has motivated me and carried me on to the point where now when I hear that voice in my head that's like, it's time to go, or I need you to go here, I know it's for my highest good. I'm not questioning it. I'm not confused. Like God said, it's time to go. So yeah. Tip number 3. Tip number 4. Don't be afraid to move alone, by yourself. Move. Get out your environment. Everyone says this, I feel like, or when you start like listening to certain things, you hear this all the time, but like you are the 5 people you hang around. There's no if, ands, buts about it. Like you're all 5 of them. Like they're smoking, you're gonna want to smoke. They're being reckless, you're gonna want to be reckless and have fun with them. Like that energy can carry off to you so easily that if you are in an environment where you feel like you can't grow, don't be afraid to just move to a city. You don't have to live there forever. You don't have to stay there forever. Move yourself. Get your stuff, sell it, and move on. No, it's time to go. Time to go. Yeah, I know you knew this, but I'm reminding you, it's time to go. Okay, and last tip, tip number 5. Don't be afraid to try different things. So, especially like in this new age of technology, I know I feel this a lot. It feels like a little wishy-washy to be like, okay, like today I'm an actress, tomorrow I'm a life insurance agent, the next day I'm a stripper. Like, don't be afraid to try different things, do different things, despite what anyone thinks. Um, and most importantly, career. I think career is the biggest, especially for our generation, one of the biggest things that I think a lot of people should branch out and keep exploring, keep having fun. That's one of those things where, like I said, people are going to be like, oh, you're moving on, like you're quitting that, you need to stick to it. If you're not feeling it or you're not liking it, leave it. If you have to, come back to it. But do it, because in those movements, just like moving a city, you start to realize what you like and what you don't, what you can tolerate and what you can't. Okay? So, yeah, I just wanted to come by and let you know that life is all about the freedom of choice, the freedom to explore, the freedom to have fun, the freedom to be free. And the more in tune that you start getting with your, the more in tune that you start getting with yourself, the more intuitive you become, the more you start to learn yourself and be by yourself and get to know you and what you like, the more you will start attracting the things that you love as in people, as in food, as in how people just treat you in normal day-to-day life, the more you start attracting like the life you want. And you start to realize this isn't a Janae song too, but you start to realize where the sun is shining. The closer I move over here, the more I don't want to go nowhere. The closer I move over here, I almost went to jail. I almost stayed in a depression for 3 years. Like, this isn't working. And that's really how you start developing your intuitive nature. That's really how you start knowing when it's giving up and when it's like, no, this is divine. It's time to go. So, bonus tip, words of affirmation. Words of affirmation is so important. Speak life into yourself. Speak good things. Don't harbor over the trauma, over the negative things. I know it's easy to do. I know it's something you're like, but this happened and that happened when I was 5 years ago and now I can't. Like, I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but the more that you harbor on those negative things, the more that you just attract more of that into your life. At some point, you have to, what do they say? Forgive. You don't have to forget, but forgive yourself for putting yourself in that situation. Forgive the person, because more than likely they may have known what they were doing, but we just gonna say they were a little ignorant at the time. But also, you've done things to other people that, you know, I think we all have. I think it's safe to say we all have done things that to other people where we wish we can take it back, where we wish we wouldn't have said those things. And you have to give other people, your parents, grace to be able to have made a mistake. And just like when you know when it's time to leave a situation and when you're giving up, it's the same with people. Like, you will start to learn when I'm giving up on somebody or when no, you're toxic. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let you go. I can't. Thank you though. No, but I gotta go for real. So yeah, that's it. That's my advice for when it's time to let go and when you're just giving up. Either way, know that life is moving closer towards you and the things that you want. So, you know, if you gave up, like, you're still gonna get good things. Okay? Okay. All right. Thank you guys for tuning into another episode of the Spotless Mind podcast. I'm thinking about implementing a Q&A section. Let me know what you guys think about that. Would y'all like a little Q&A? Like Ask Liv? I kind of like that. Ask Liv. Okay. Or I am really big into like Married at First Sight, Ready to Love. Obviously, your girl wants a man. Okay, preferably 6'2", 240. We're gonna start right there. But you know what I mean. Big arms. So, what was I saying? I got caught up in my future hubby. I'm super into reality TV, so if you guys want to do like a segment where we like go over reality TV, but drop anything in the comments. If you're tuning in on Apple Podcasts, I'm also on YouTube, so watch me on YouTube at Olivia Jonelle. And my Instagram is at Olivia Jonell. Um, yeah. Oh, and one more thing. I want to take a tour, a group tour to Ghana with you guys in December. Let me know what you guys would think about that. Meeting me in Ghana. Are y'all down? Would y'all be down for that? Okay. Well, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time.